Hey everyone, and welcome back to Farm Girl in Progress. I am Nadine, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of work out in the garden. I have a bunch of straw left over from when I cleaned the chicken coop and the turkey coop out, and so that straw needs to go somewhere. So I'm going to use it to mulch my garden beds, and then I'll give you guys a tour of what's going on back there. Let's get started. Alrighty, I got my big helper, and we're going to move the straw into each garden bed. Maybe do like an inch or two, and that'll basically just help again retain moisture in the garden beds because we're coming out of like our rainy season here in Pennsylvania, and it's going to start getting dry. So I want to make sure that the beds are retaining the moisture that they need so the plants will grow, and then as well as help with some of the weeds. We don't have a bunch of weeds, but we do have some, and I just want to make my life a little bit easier and do some weed control while it's early. So, you ready to get started? Okay. Okay, so that is the last of my straw, guys. I don't think it's deep enough to really prevent all of the weeds, but it's better than nothing. I only had a bale and maybe a quarter left over from when I cleaned out the coops. So I didn't have a whole lot to work with, but it did more than I expected it to. So I think all but 3 beds got straw in it, and the raspberries didn't get straw either. I probably should have done them first, but oh well. So yeah, that's the end of the straw. Let me give you guys a tour of what's going on in here. Alrighty, so walking into the garden, the first thing you're gonna see is the potatoes, and here a rooster. So I have all of the red potatoes here. They are doing excellent. I've got a marigold up front and a zinnia. This one hasn't bloomed yet, so I'm excited to see what color it is. So that whole bed's potatoes. So coming down to this bed, we have some okra in the back, some strawberries along the front here, another marigold. This is zucchini and a zinnia on the end here. In the garden along the garage, we have the elderberries. I just planted these 4 here, so it is an Adams, a John, an Adams, and a John. And those are Adam and John as well, but I don't remember which one is which. So those will be coming up along the garage here. And then starting in the back row, we have some herbs. We have some sage, some sweet marjoram, and some basil. I did plant a bunch of other herbs, but they did not germinate, so I'll have to replant them. Along the back we have some tomatoes, and I'm using a Florida weave trellis system to support them. I need a different string though. The hemp rope is not staying taut like I need it to, so I'll probably be replacing that later on, and I'll show you guys that in a video. These down here are cucumbers, so they'll come up and they'll vine up the arched trellis. And then of course I've got marigolds and zinnias. And then this here is a cherry tomato, which has little baby cherry tomatoes on it. Moving down to the next bed, again, this was supposed to all be lettuce and none of it germinated, so I'm gonna have to start over. These are cucumbers. Again, I did 2 different varieties, so there's one variety over there and one over here. And then these are all green peppers. I've got a nice big one coming in there. And then these are, I want to say broccoli or cauliflower. I don't remember which. These are beans, as well as those. Again, 2 different varieties, one on either side. This is broccoli or cauliflower. Again, don't remember which. My spinach did come up, so that's all spinach. And then some bunching onions here. I do have some sweet onions in the front of the last 2 beds that we talked about. And then more tomatoes in the back, some more zinnias. Our strawberry bed over here, that's doing really well. It looks like it could use some water though. And then we've got grapes in the back. So that one is a red, a white, and a blue grape. So those will be lovely. Turning this way, this is all raspberries. However, I think my raspberries got some kind of a root fungus. They're all kind of wilting and not doing so well, so I need to look into how to remedy that. And I'm not sure how to do that. So if you guys know how to fix issues with raspberries, they look like this. They were doing really beautifully, but they're just not anymore. And it could just be overwatering. We have had a ton of water over the last week, so that just could be an issue. I don't know, but that's what I'm dealing with my raspberries. Along the back here I have a mix of different wildflowers that will attract hummingbirds and bees and butterflies. The really tall ones in the back are sunflowers. So I originally had my raspberries planted here. You can see a few that survived from last year. But the raspberries on this side didn't survive, and I had put up this trellis system of just wire. It's hard to see in the video, but there's this wire that runs from this post to the next, and I was going to use it to trellis the raspberries too, but I'm going to use it to trellis the sunflowers instead. So we'll put them up once they're tall enough. We'll put them behind this first wire, and then as they grow and get tall enough, we'll put them behind the second wire, and that'll just help support them as they grow. These are some raspberries that again survived from last year. They are growing beautifully. Turning to our second row here, we have zinnia in the front corner, marigolds in the two back and in the front middle, some white onions. All of the onions in the second row are white onions, so those are all in the front of the beds. More tomatoes in the back here, again using that Florida weave trellising technique. And then these down here are peas. Again, I didn't have a super great germination rate, so I'm gonna have to replant those very soon. Moving down here, again, same thing with the peas on this side. I just didn't have a great germination rate, so I'll just have to replant. These are sweet banana peppers in the back. They are doing fabulously. I've got lots of peppers coming in on these guys. Broccoli or cauliflower, I don't remember which. I should probably write these things down. And then these are vining peach. So I do believe vining peach is a type of cantaloupe, but I figured I would try it on the trellis and see how they do. On this side, I just have regular cantaloupe. Again, I wanted to try them on the trellis and see how that does, since they are a vining, smaller fruit. So I think they would do really well on a trellis system. In the back here, we've got more tomatoes. Each bed has a different variety of tomatoes. I do not remember off the top of my head what they are, so I'll have to go back and look. But so yeah, tomatoes. This is cilantro and another zinnia. The first blooms are kind of dying out, but we've got plenty of seconds coming. This is a strawberry and onion bed. We've got lots of little strawberries coming in, so that's exciting. And the last row, we have, oops, I covered it. These are zucchini and more zucchini. So as they grow, I'll have to thin it down to one plant each because they get massive. They will take over the entire bed. This is kale, and these are butternut squash. Again, they'll grow up the trellis. These little guys down here are rainbow, or no, these are regular carrots, and those ones are rainbow carrots. On the end here, we have some radishes, another zinnia. The radishes are looking very nice. So the cool thing about radishes is they grow really, really fast, so you can replant them and get a couple different harvests from them each season. Here is another cherry tomato. I have cherry tomatoes on the front two ends of the front trellises here, and they have grown massive. They are taller than me now. But they are producing lots of little cherry tomatoes, so that is very exciting. They are all over the place, and there's lots of flowers still to come. The front of these garden beds are yellow onions, so there's those. Next bed over here, again, we have another cherry tomato, more sweet onions. These are spaghetti squash and jalapeno peppers and sweet banana peppers on this side. More kale, broccoli or cauliflower. Again, I don't remember which. More cherry tomatoes. And then these little guys down here are yellow summer squash. I may have made a goof with them. They may not be a vining variety. I hope that they are, so I don't have to transplant them, but we shall see. I'll have to look at my seed packet. I don't remember. Another cherry tomato in this bed, and this whole bed is corn, so it has come up absolutely beautifully. This is a white variety of corn at my husband's request. So we have a good many corn stalks coming up. In the back are more tomatoes and broccoli or cauliflower, and then down here that'll vine up the trellis is honeydew. So I'm really excited to see how the fruit does on the trellis this year. Again, more marigolds, more zinnias, and then another strawberry and onion garden. These ones are yellow onions. The bed on the other end is white onions. So yeah, there's still lots to be done in the garden. I have to plant or reseed a lot of things because germination rates just didn't work out so well. And then I still have a lot of prime real estate in here for various different vegetables and plants that I just haven't decided yet. I don't know if I'm too late in the season. This is really like my first time having a garden like this. I did have one really big one the year that we moved in here, and it did really, really well, but it was such a different style of gardening. It was, the traditional row gardening, and the weeds kind of took over, and I mean, everything did beautifully, so I can't complain. It was a wonderful experience. But this is all new to me. I'm learning how to grow and raise garden beds. I'm learning how to grow on trellis systems. I'm learning companion planting, which I still don't know a whole lot about, but I'm learning. So yeah, a lot of this year is just a learning experience for me, and really preparing me for the next growing season. And I'm really excited about it because, for one, I'll have more experience, and for two, I'll have everything set up. This year was a pretty big hustle to get the garden beds built, to fill them with soil, to fence in the garden area, to grow all the seedlings, and get the mechanics and the logistics of setting up a garden in place this year. So a lot of it was focusing on actually building the garden versus growing in the garden. So next year I'm really excited to focus on the growing. I'm really excited about learning more about companion planting, about square foot gardening, and really just getting the most out of this space as I can. I still have a lot of ideas for this space back here. There's a couple gardens that I want to put in along the fence between the grapevines for medicinal type flowers. So your echinacea, your German chamomile, what was the other one? Calendula, I believe is what it's called. So yeah, I want to do a couple of the medicinal flowers along the back fence where the grapes are So far, I am really excited with how everything has turned out in here. Everything is growing beautifully. I can't complain. Thank you so much for coming along with me. Thanks for allowing me to share this with you. It has been a dream come true of mine, and I hope that I'm sharing what I'm learning with you guys in a way that inspires you to chase your dreams down. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to just do it. You don't have to have it all figured out. I know basically nothing about gardening. I know very little about companion planting. I know very little about how to fertilize things or any of that. So even if you know just a little bit, you can do it. So if this is what you want to do, whether you have a big space, whether you have a small space, there's options for you and you can do it. You just got to remember to do what you can with what you have where you are. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and remember to grow where you're planted.